What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers, and joining me here today to talk about the 2024 Denver Broncos team preview is my guy from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network, Jay McLovin. Jay, how you doing this afternoon, my friend? And what do you think about these Broncos? We know we know you don't pull any punches, and so I'm expecting a good show today. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, brother. Much better than I think this Broncos season is going to do. Yeah, so we got rid of Russell Wilson. He's out the door. They gave the 20th hardest strength of schedule, so not really, doing pretty good there. Jerry Jeudy is no longer there. He is now gone. And Cortland Sutton has now finally arrived as wide receiver one. What a time to not want to be alive. Wow. That is depressing. And that, my friend, is if he doesn't even hold out. There could be times where Cortland Sutton could possibly hold out if he doesn't get the contract that he's looking for. So if that's not bad enough, now you're only one mediocre wide receivers actually talking about holding out. What a time to be alive. Like you said, there is going to be a little bit of an interesting battle, I guess you could say, between Stidham, Bo Nix, and Zach Wilson. None of that really excites me at all. They actually have Zach Wilson as the third quarterback on this depth chart behind Nix, the rookie, at number 2. So that tells you how much worse it is for Zach Wilson when you can't even outbeat the rookie on the depth chart and you sit behind a gap field at best in Jarrett Stidham. It's time to be alive. Logan, if that doesn't make you excited, I don't know what will. They do have the 27th ranked defense coming back. Whew, that just makes you excited. Now, this is the same defense that gave up 70 points to Miami last year. And quite honestly, I think they got some guy named Jake Myers. They got Malcolm Roque they brought in from free agency to help out the pass run and the run stop. But quite honestly, I don't see how that's going to make a damn bit of difference, Logan. The running back, Javonte Williams, if his whopping 3.6 doesn't just knock you to the floor, his 3 touchdowns won't even do much better in that regard either. He put up 217 rushes, 774? At best, he's a mediocre second-string running back. But no, he is their RB1. I said all that to say this: Tampa, New Orleans, Cleveland, KC twice, Cincinnati, Colts, Baltimore, and Atlanta. I see all those as possible losses. So to that effect, I think worst case scenario, they go 6-11. And best case scenario, I think they could possibly go 8-9, Logan.
Yeah, when I look at this Denver Broncos team, I mean, it could definitely be improved upon, right? And my God, Sean Payton, boy, this ain't really what he was wanting to come back to. Now, if you recall, Jay, whenever Russell Wilson was signed, there was a lot of hoopla. They said, oh, man, look what he's going to do. Look what this duo of him and Sean Payton were going to do. Hell, I thought me and you probably thought they were going to do pretty solid. But, boy, that was a train wreck. So you're taking your shot now on Bo Nix. That's the guy of the future. Can't really say how he's going to pan out because obviously he hasn't played in the National Football League yet. We know he did good in college. Once he transferred to Oregon, he was great there. But we haven't seen how that's going to translate to the league. Jarrett Stidham, I mean, that doesn't really cut it for me as a quarterback, as a starter. Zach Wilson, I think, has shown that he is not a starter. We saw last year when Aaron Rodgers went down that Zach Wilson does not have what it takes to be a starter that will lead you to the Super Bowl, because that's honestly what you need. That's honestly what you want as a starting quarterback. I don't care if you can get me 10 wins. Can you get me to a Super Bowl? That's what every team should want. Can you not fold under pressure? So, Bo Nix, that's who they're pushing their chips all in on once again at that QB1 spot. Rest of the team, yeah, man, the running back room ain't doing much better either. You mentioned Javonte Williams, backup Samaje Perine, and Jaleel McLaughlin. I don't know. Cortland Sutton, That's your bright spot, probably. That's your main guy right there. Josh Reynolds probably be your number 2. Marvin Mims will be your 3. Now, also, too, Jay, let's not forget, they drafted Troy Franklin, who was also a receiver for Bo Nix. They're hoping they can maybe rekindle that flame and have it work in the league. Remains to be seen. Rest of your team, though, man, like I said, your O-line, you've got... I would say their O-line ain't too bad, honestly. Their O-line is probably a strong point on their offense. You have players like Quinn Miners, Garrett Bowles, Mike McGlinchey, a couple other guys there. But let's talk about the defense, though, Jay. Let's talk about this defense. So you've got Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, you mentioned Malcolm Roach, Jonathan Cooper, Cody Barton, Levi Wallace, Brandon Jones. But all my chips are in. My red highlighter is on one man and one man only, Jay. That's at the cornerback spot with Mr. Patrick Surtain II. First round pick out of Bama back in 21. What has he done? What has he done for you? Well, he's been healthy. He's been on the field. Last year, when you look at his stats, he had 69 total tackles, career high. He's got 1 interception, though, which has went down every single season. But he does have 12 passes defended, so he was knocking them down, just not reeling them in. That's your moneymaker right there, man. That's who you go for. When you look at their schedule, some of the teams they're playing, I mean, it's a tough one. Like you said, they've got the 20th ranked schedule, but looking at some of the teams, you mentioned Kansas City, Atlanta, Cleveland. You got other teams as well, like Cincy, Baltimore. It's going to be rough sledding. I predict they will not make the playoffs. I think I'm with you. I think that they'll go with a similar record to last year. If not, maybe a little bit worse, honestly. Just because, I mean, nothing really stands out. I mean, you have the promise of Bo Nix. And what I kind of think about this, Jay, is I kind of feel that Denver is going for what the Texans did, in a sense of, well, we're going to get you a really high drafted quarterback, and we have a lot of receivers you might not know. Maybe that'll work. I mean, because last year, unless you were really following the game of football, I mean, who would have thought that Tank Dell and Nico Collins would have been top tier receivers? That they would have looked as good as they did. They're hoping that Bo Nix can elevate the receiver's game. And he might, but I don't think all in all that's going to help with the standings. Last year, like we said, this team finished with a record out there in the West. They finished at 8-9, tied for second with Las Vegas. I think they're going to stay in that third and or fourth. I expect them to fight with the Chargers for that spot once again. And we talked about the Chargers a couple of weeks ago. You can go check that out and see what our thoughts are. But yeah, I don't see it this year, Jay. I think they're still a couple pieces away if they want to get back to contending and get back to Super Bowl status. So not there quite yet. So for a Broncos fan, best of luck to Bo Nix. We'll see how he does this year. But I think it's going to be a rough year all in all, unfortunately, for those Broncos fans. Well, hey, Jay, appreciate you coming on, my brother, talking about these Denver Broncos. Once again, I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers, guys.